All right, many thanks, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, for that background report. To begin our conversation now, let me bring in our guests, and I begin with Senator Babangida Hussaini, who is Chairman, Senate Committee on Northwest Development Commission and the Senator representing Jigawa Northwest Senatorial District. I hear his people call him the stabilizer. A pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning, Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and Nigeria, and then thank you for having me.
All right, you didn't also add that he's the Walin Kazauri, with very important title. Of course, also joining us for the conversation via Zoom from Bauchi is the Minister of State, Regional Development, Uba Megari Amadu. Many thanks for joining us, Honorable Minister. It's a pleasure to see you.
Pleasure for having me too. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, Honorable Minister, just to launch us into this conversation proper in a moment, just in one sentence, what is the core idea behind regional development in 2026?
Okay, that's a good way to start. In one sentence, to say, that will be driving development or taking development to the people who need it most at the grassroots level. In one sentence.
Yes, of course, we'll get back to you in Bauchi. Let's return here in the studio and hear the comments of Senator Babangida Hussaini. Of course, you're the chairman of the Northwest Development Commission, a very important region. You want to mention, considering the challenges at the moment. Speak to us about what the Commission has been able to do since its establishment in 2024.
I think let me first of all use this opportunity once again to appreciate Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for setting up the regional commissions. Of course, there have been a lot of arguments here and there regarding the place of regional commissions in a federal setup. Let me answer quickly by saying that it is not a misnomer. In the U.S., you have the Tennessee Valley Authority. It's a regional commission established in May 1933 by the U.S. Congress to address regional challenges in Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, and other areas, Mississippi, affected by the Second World War. So it is really an intervention agency to address specific issues affecting particular regions. So that settles the argument about the place of regional commissions in a federal setup. Quickly, upon the enactment of the Act and the accent by Mr. President establishing the Northwest Development Commission, we got to work, and the task before the Commission, especially the Northwest Development Commission, was quite enormous, having regard to the fact that the region houses the largest population, about 60 million Nigerians, which is almost a quarter of the national population, with a lot of multidimensional issues, poverty, out-of-school children, security challenges, environmental issues, solid mineral challenges, and all of those things put together. So quickly we got to work. We started developing a blueprint, which was to specifically generate ideas and generate responses from below, so that we can be able to understand the depth of the issues on ground. And that is what we have been able to do, which culminated in a summit in Kaduna over the weekend to kind of generate all of those and compile all of those ideas and responses into a workable blueprint for the development.
When you talk about workable blueprint for development, you just mentioned the summit that happened last week. In that particular summit, all the governors in that region were absent. What does that say about, how the Commission would like to make progress? Because, I mean, you need the buy-in of the governors for the Commission to succeed.
Oh, definitely. Governors are critical stakeholders in any federal setup at the subnational level. They drive development from below. But let me just correct this impression. It is not true that the governors were not there. The truth was, because of the level of engagement and the party commitments all over the zone, I remember Katsina, Jigawa, Sokoto and Kebbi had party engagements. It was agreed that the dean of the governors of that region, the governor of Katsina State, Malam Dukoreda, was to represent the governors and present the blueprint and the responses from the governor. And his deputy, the deputy governor of Katsina State, came. So also is the governor of Kaduna State, the host governor. His deputy represented him, and we think we are okay with that. And all the governors sent representations and their responses. And for us, the most important part of the conversation is that we have gotten a lot of input from the subnationals, which was quite useful. And interestingly enough, the responses from the larger society, over 5,000 youth groups, women groups, and the general communities were all registered online and presented their memos and their responses. So I think we didn't miss anything. It was a convenient arrangement that the governor of Katsina State, who is the dean of the governors of the Northwest, 7 governors of the Northwest region, will represent them, and his governor did just that.
So what's your key focus for 2026 as a fallout from the summit?
Security in the short word. Security, because the nature of the evolution of the security challenges in the zone is quite worrisome. Maybe if you take out perhaps Kano and Jigawa, even Kano itself has its own peculiar security challenges: urban crime, endaba, phone snatching, drug, cyber crimes, cultism, and all manner of urban crimes are really a source of concern in Kano. But the other 5 states, Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and Kaduna, are heavily impacted by banditry and other associated social ills. And remember, especially for Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, the contiguous to our borders with Niger. So therefore, cross-border crimes, proliferation of small arms, smuggling, and other vices across the borders are also quite of concern. So our focus in 2026 is to spend and to devote more time in stabilizing the region and address the security challenges that is very rampant now.
All right. My question is, why does it seem that regional development has become such a big budget priority? I mean, with 1.57 trillion, what can Nigerians expect?
Well, the intendment, I think, even from the acts establishing the various commissions, was to spur development from the regional levels. The peculiarities of our regions, for instance, if you look at the southeast, the focus was about investment and commerce and industry. In the northwest region, our number 1 focus, of course, is about security, and then we scale it up to agriculture, ranching, and other investment in the agricultural value chain. Because remember, that zone houses the most important food basket of the country. So it is about bringing about healthy competition among regions for development. Remember also the Southwest Commission focused on infrastructure. They are looking at connecting, rail connection for all the states. But no development will happen without security. So that's why the Northwest Development Commission is focused on security. But having said all of that, I think it's a very good innovation by Mr. President to bring about healthy competition and for each region to develop at its own pace and with its own peculiarities. So I think those are the rationale and the reasons behind the establishment and the funding of the regional commissions. And the truth is, as intervention agencies, they are to complement what the state governments are doing, what the nationals and the subnationals are doing, and to address specific and peculiar issues that are hampering development in those particular regions.
Now, we are spending some time with you, distinguished, because we understand that you will be leaving us in a very short time, and I hope the Honourable Minister understands. Yeah. But I'm particular about how the Senate is going to ensure that the money is not wasted.
Yeah. Well, let me just say that the principal functions of any legislative government are basically 3: lawmaking, appropriation, and oversight. Oversight is dealing about chasing the money and making sure that there is value for money from any appropriated funds that are released. The assurance I'm going to give you with the caliber of the membership of the committee and the general perception that we can do it. We can actually develop our regions by ourselves. And that's why I think in the wisdom of the Senate, of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, GCON, the chairman of the various regional commissions are indigenous of those regions. So it is up to you to leverage on the issues that affects you. It is expected that you are familiar, you know the issues, and you will bring to bear your wealth of experience to drive the activities of the commission.
All right,
so the assurance I'm giving Nigerians is we are going to make sure that there will be rigorous oversight on the activities of the commissions.
Fantastic. Assurances, you know, that's what we always get, you know, when we talk about anything, really. I'll pause you a bit. Let's get back to the minister now. I'd like our viewers to know they can be part of this conversation. You can send in your comments or questions, and of course our guest would respond to them. Honorable Minister, listening to the Senator talk about assurance, I mean, we've been assured countless times, and you know, sometimes you know, those assurances do not you know, bring the desired on the table. But speak to us about what the ministry is doing to ensure that these regions deliver on their mandate. And I'm asking that because the NDDC, which is the oldest commission, you know, started in 2000, you know, critics will say has not really met its mandate. What is the ministry doing differently to ensure that these commissions you know, do the needful and, of course, better the lives of the people in these regions?
Thank you. We're doing lots. And I want to disagree with you on this blanket statement on the NDDC, not like covering up for anybody, but our major responsibility as a ministry essentially is to develop or evolve policies from within to supervise or follow up on the activities of those commissions, like my brother, the distinguished senator, mentioned. We are doing lots, but I will be very specific. There are 7 commissions, on and on, under the Ministry of Regional Development, 4 in the south and 3 in the north. My colleague, Engineer Abubakar Momo, takes care of the commissions in the south, while I oversee the commissions in the north. One of the things we are doing differently is just like my brother said there. As we speak, I am in Bauchi. Why are we in Bauchi? We are currently undertaking an inspection tour of projects executed by the Northeast Development Commission, following up on to see for ourselves, and that the composition of the entourage team is made up of the ministry, of course, led by my humble self. We have the board led by General Paul Tarva. I'm sure you know Paul Tarva, wartime general and excellent Nigerian. We have the management, of course, under the leadership of Mohammed Al-Khali. That is not ending there. We have the committee, Northeast Development Commission Committee of the House of Representatives, led by Honorable Usman Zana and 3 of his colleagues. Why are we here? We are here together as a team. You know, the legislature appropriates money for the commissions to get their projects off the ground. The management is in charge of executing the projects. The ministry, of course, supervises. And we are here to take on all projects state by state to see whether the monies appropriated are judiciously used for the projects itemized for. So that is one basic thing we are doing differently. Before now, I'm sure you never had probably this large group of people coming from different parts from the ministry, from the commissions and the board and the legislature, which is a very important component. That is one thing we're doing differently. Secondly, before we took up, sometimes last year, in the May of last year, we had a retreat in Lagos, bringing all commissions together. We engaged very serious resource persons. We interacted with the public, took input from all sectors of the economy that have 1 or 2 things to do with the commissions, came back to the ministry, shook them up. And what we are doing right now is implementing step by step some of the outcomes of the retreat that we had in Lagos last year. I don't want to just isolate one commission and deal with it generally. I will prefer you ask specific questions. If there are issues you have with a particular commission, you ask them, then we give you answers. But on a general note, we are doing so much. I'm sure Nigerians will agree with our position that we've taken it up there. It is no longer where it used to be. There's this perception of commissions as just where monies were domiciled for people to fritter with. It's no longer the case. There's a new sheriff in town, and we're doing so much differently there. The execution of the projects on ground, different sectors, infrastructure, education, health. As we speak, just a few days ago, just 2 days exactly ago, we commissioned fire trucks, fire stations in the ATBU, Abuja Tafawa University. We commissioned an intensive care unit at the ATBU Teaching Hospital. We commissioned a mega school somewhere in the outskirts of Bauchi with a complete school with admin block, classrooms, water, everything needed for conducive learning of our pupils. So we are affecting lives, doing so many things differently, from agri, security, education, health, and infrastructure. That's where we are today.
So thank you very much. And from where you stand, what sectors are likely to see action first? Would you say roads? Would you say infrastructure? Would you say agriculture? And when can Nigerians begin to see real projects on ground?
If you followed what I mentioned earlier, we are taking them all on the prioritizing. For the Northeast Development, I'm giving emphasis on the Northeast Development Commission because it is the oldest in the region and the most active. The two others just came up, and we're in the process of taking them off the ground. We are looking at infrastructure. For the Northeast, the most important component of our problems to deal with is security. You know why the Northeast Development Commission was set up in the first place, rising out of the insurgency, unfortunate insurgency in the Northwest. So priority is infrastructure because the insurgents attempted to destroy all infrastructure for a purpose, disconnect communities and make them more vulnerable for attack. So we are facing infrastructure, roads, bridges. As I speak, in an hour or so from now, we are setting out again to commission 3 bridges between Bauchi and Gombe. Those were bridges that were not destroyed by insurgents, but were natural causes, but all the same, the commission fixed them, and we're going to commission them. You can imagine the catastrophe that will have befallen Bauchi and Gombe, having to cut off. Gombe is just the next stage from Bauchi on a federal highway, and the likely effect of cutting them off would have been disastrous. We are facing agri in a multifaceted manner. What are we doing differently? We're doing agri in a modern way, smart agriculture to be precise, getting the farmers taught modern ways of farming, climate resilient agriculture, getting the best for them, not directly getting into farming though, but that has impacted significantly on the lives of the people of the Northeast. Health, we are commissioning 4 health centers in very remote areas of Bauchi State sometime later today. And without health, I can imagine what else someone will do in those remote places. We are taking health facilities there. We are training health professionals to handle those PHC clinics in remote areas. Education takes a large chunk of what we're doing, building mega schools in hard-to-reach areas. What else? So much more. Agri, infrastructure, education, humanitarian outreach, times of disasters, not like taking over the responsibility of NEMA, but we are intervening in all those areas that have direct impact on the lives of the citizens we serve.
Many thanks, Honourable Minister, for your response to that question. Let's return to the studio now. And, of course, speaking with Senator Babangida Hussaini, looking at the Northwest region, I mean, some of the challenges, of course, you want to mention the high number of out-of-school children. You want to talk about poverty rate being high, despite the rich agricultural potential of that region. You want to talk about unemployment and so much more. Away from the commission, I mean, which the president in his wisdom, you know, has created, would you say that there's a governance problem in that region? Where exactly would you want to, you know, pin the problem on, considering the fact that the region has not seen significant progress for a while?
Well, like I earlier on said, the issues of the Northwest are quite a source of concern. This is a region that has the potential to drive national economy. Starting from the solid minerals, the gold mines in Zamfara, Katsina, you know, a lot of solid minerals abound in the Northwest region. And then the human capital in that region as well is quite massive. I think if I have to really, I can't put my finger down to only one particular issue. It's a combination of many factors. You can look at environmental factors, you can look at the vulnerability of the zone to the happenings in the Maghreb region, in the Sahel and Maghreb region. When Libya regime fell, you know, the proliferation of small arms was quite very massive, especially coming in from Libya through Niger down to the region. So it became a hub for small arms trade and global security, zone. So also the issue of climate change. The Sahara Desert has wrought so much damage on the fertility of the soil, such that states like Sokoto, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, you know, are heavily impacted. You find that the fertility of the soil is quite poor, yield is quite poor, and that accounts for the huge rural-urban migration. The issues of climate change also brought in new economies that are quite destructive to the environment itself. The market for coal, the local coal charcoal that women use for cooking, you know, is banned in Niger. But here we are in Nigeria, especially in parts of Jigawa state. They are cutting and felling trees and burning and making coals and exporting it to Niger. And then, of course, because of our unemployment issues, the out-of-school children, the girls' education problem, you know, a lot of girls don't go to school. A lot of them migrate to as far as Libya, Algeria. Some even, the daring ones even cross the Sahara into this Mediterranean Sea, into Europe. Today, we see a lot of our young, able-bodied young men and women engaging on all manner of crimes to survive. So it's a combination of many factors. But fundamentally, I will agree with you that governance issues are a source of concern, because principally the subnationals and the nationals should have better collaboration in addressing these problems. I think the gap between this synergy has created much problem. It was evident during our summit. The national is doing its best, the subnationals are doing something else. We believe with a coordinated approach, we can address the challenges. And one very important point that perhaps the minister may want to know, we have encouraged the participation of the civil society organizations. They were quite active, quite virile, and development partners have really encouraged us to engage and deepen our relationship with civil society organizations. Because they are, non-state actors, they have a dispassionate approach to development. So therefore, I think one of the things we have encouraged the Northwest Development Commission to do was to deepen their relationship with these non-state actors to be able to have better and transparent approach to their mandate.
So how would the legislature, perhaps the Senate, like to measure success? Would you measure it by roads? Would you measure by jobs? Would you measure? How would you measure?
Actually, if you look at the act establishing the commissions, you know, the mandate is quite wide, looking at about 12 mandate areas. But like I said, for now, especially in this budget, we are more focused in addressing the issues of security challenges. Because without security, you can't do much. The farming communities have been displaced in Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Kaduna. You know, the catastrophe of the humanitarian crisis, you know, accompanying such security challenges is quite massive. The resources of the states and the federal government is depleted, spending on security instead of development. So we are looking as an intervention agency. We have encouraged them, we are appropriating funds for them to spend more on security so that we can support the security effort of the nationals and the subnationals so that we can be able to address the security challenges.
All right, I'd like us to go back quickly to the summit. I mean, one of the issues some of the commissions have faced is funding.
Yes.
Did the Northwest Summit that you just convened find a way to deal with that problem? Are you looking for alternative in terms of sourcing funding?
Funding was a challenge. In 2025, the commissions, especially the Northwest Development Commission, was not funded, quite a source of concern. And we believe if funding had come as appropriated, definitely would have begun to see some meaningful changes in their work. But having said all of that, the summit, as it were, was supported technically by funding from the DFID and some well-meaning indigents of the Northwest region. And we believe we want to tap into that opportunities. Remember, we have the Aliko Dangotes, we have the Abdusamad Rabi, we have the Dahiru Mangals and others. We are bringing all of them together to rechannel their resources and their attention towards sector-specific projects that will address the challenges of the Northwest. All
right. Just before we get to the Honourable Minister, because I understand that you'd be leaving us shortly, yes. I'd like to hear your response, to critics who think that these commissions are simply political patronage vehicles.
Well, every well-meaning initiative or idea suffers the same stereotypes. But I want to say that the well-intentioned motive of Mr. President is obvious about it. And of course, like I always say, we should be optimistic that better things should lie ahead. If there are political patronages, what is politics? Politics is all about service, aggregating community interests and attending to them. So if they are, and they have succeeded in delivering such patronages to the communities, I don't see any problem there. So, but principally, the assurance I will still say is that the system we are putting in place with the active participation of the civil society organizations, I think there will be accountability, there will be transparency, and there will be effective delivery of in the mandate of the commissions.
All right, Senator Babangida.
I guess we should read some of the comments, questions. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's just read some. Maybe he may want to respond.
Then.
All right, I'll just quickly read the one here. This one is from Mohammed Awal Musa Afama in Kano. He says, to what extent can community development associations support regional development commissions in project monitoring and security?
Yes, that was the point I earlier on raised. From the aggregation of the responses we got during the summit, there was a lot of interest in by community development associations, the NGOs, the CBOs, and even the non-state actors who have volunteered to participate in the implementation of projects. So I think that I've already spoken about that.
You talked about the main fallout being dealing with security, but did you look at issues affecting women and children? Because I understand in that region, I mean, when you look at the IDPs, look at people who are displaced, people who are under served in that region. Of course, women and children are more affected. Anything in that
I'd like
regard?
to speak to that particular point. I think from Katsina State and from the submission of the Katsina State government and some non-state actors from Katsina State, I think their focus was embedded in the security, issues efforts to address security challenges is the rehabilitation and resettlement of affected victims. So I think, we always know, women and children are the most vulnerable members in any class of the society in any crisis situation. So I think that is part of the response we got from Katsina State and from non-state actors in Katsina State. So I think we are all collating this, and the technical document should be ready by the end of this week or less.
And from Ahmed Babadikwa in Maiduguri, he said the NEDC is doing remarkably well with its projects visibly impacting the region. To build on this, it should clearly differentiate its work from state projects to avoid duality. A strategic shift towards legacy projects, while the state and local governments can handle day-to-day initiatives that would further solidify its lasting impact. Of course, that sounds more like credit and advice as well. So is there conflict between projects executed by the states and then the Regional Development Authority?
I mentioned about the synergy between the national and subnationals. This synergy will ensure that there is a coordinated approach to project execution. Duplication is really a problem where you have this lack of synergy and coordination. And I think working through the governance structure established especially for the Northwest, we have the state governors as the main, like the oversight body in executing programs and projects. And therefore, in every attempt to create either a program or a project, definitely state governments will be encouraged to have their inputs and to respond to the demands of the Commission to ensure that there will be transparency, and at the same time the danger of having duplication of projects or programs is avoided.
Earlier I mentioned the NDDC, and I mean, that's the oldest, and the Northwest Development Commission is quite new. I'd like you to speak to us if there are challenges or controversies concerning the NDDC that the NWDC has learned from, or is probably trying to tap into, just so that it stands out or is different, compared to other commissions.
I think the peculiarities of the two agencies are quite obvious. NDDC, I mean, starting from OMPADEC down to NDDC, was a creation to address a particular problem affecting the Niger Delta. Of course, over the years, there have been a lot of issues around the activities of the NDDC. But I like to say that if we look backwards, things have stabilized. We are beginning to see meaningful projects. We are beginning to see the impact of NDDC in the South-South. I'm a member of the committee, and we have seen a remarkable progress in the implementation of the projects in the South-South. So also in the innovation of creating a ministry. The ministry is the coordinating body that oversees the activities of the agencies. That too is to bring about, a stronger and effective governance structure. Hitherto, there was no Ministry for Regional Development, and that, I think, has helped in bringing about sanity in the activities of all the commissions. So I think the issues that have been bedeviling the NEDC have abated over the years, and then, of course, we have learned from that, and we are avoiding that. Like I said, the most important component of the governance structure, beside the governors, we have the traditional rulers up north. The traditional are quite influential and quite useful in terms of generating local information, generating local community needs, and the like. So also is the issue of the community-based organization, the non-state actors, and the civil society organizations. And interestingly enough, we have gotten a lot of research work from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, from the DFID, quite voluminous, and we are pouring through them to ensure that the Commission and the committee from the Senate is kept abreast of the issues of the Northwest, so that we will be able to have a better understanding of the issues and then the approach to take.
All right, Senator Babangida Hussaini, I understand you have to leave us now. So we thank you very much. He's Senate Committee Chairman on Northwest Development Commission, and the Senator representing Jigawa Northwest Senatorial District. We thank you very much for your time and your perspectives.
Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, the conversation continues. We have the Honorable Minister joining us all the way from Bauchi via Zoom, and I'd like to read some of the comments that we have just so that the Honorable Minister can respond as the distinguished senator takes his leave. This one says, good morning. Regional Development Commissions is the best thing that happens in Nigeria with potential to impact Nigerians across regions based on their needs. That's from Ibrahim Biu. Another one says, good morning from John in Abuja. I want stakeholders to ensure corruption and other vices don't affect this laudable initiative. So I'd like you, Honourable Minister, to just respond to some of these comments. And then I would like you to speak specifically, to what the ministry intends to do as regards the Northwest Development Commission. I mean, we just listened to the chairman of the committee in the National Assembly. Speak specifically about that region, because, I mean, there's so many issues affecting the states in that region at the moment.
Yes, I agree with you. And that informs largely why the commissions were created in the first place. The Senator did mention that the most important as far as the Northwest is concerned is security, out-of-school children, drugs, and issues like that. They also have issues around dearth of infrastructure. The Northwest is largely an agrarian area, so most of the people are engaged in small-scale farming. But with insecurity, you know that they can't access their farms, so we are paying more attention to security. How are we dealing with the security problem in the Northwest? I will leave the details to the security people, but I will tell you this much. First of all, we have a very good relationship with the communities, and information coming out of the communities go a long way in solving part of the problems. We have an arrangement with the international security consulting firm, generate information, track activities around insecurity, no matter what shape they take, from banditry, cattle rustling, kidnap for ransom, and all sorts. And when we aggregate the information, we disseminate them, we send them to the agencies directly responsible for dealing with such issues. That is for security. And another component of security is getting the logistic component, the hardware of handling security problems in the region. I agree, so much so that the traditional institution has a large part to play. In the days gone by, basic information about issues like this used to come from the traditional institutions, no matter how small the settlements are. We are going back to that, taking information, transmitting them to agencies, and equipping them, getting them the valuable infrastructure they need, security infrastructure that is they need to deal with the problem. Another area we are working on in the Northeast is on handling this unfortunate problem of drugs amongst the young people. We are involving many players in the system, NDA and NGOs too are doing their part, taking the problems out. There are one or two things I think Nigerians need to know. Concerning health, the Northwest particularly has the highest cases of VVF. And what are we doing to change the scenario? Setting up special hospitals to deal with VVF and nutrition or malnutrition related issues. That is for health. Those specialist hospitals, like I said, are not going to be very huge structures. They're designed to be small.
All right, it appears we're having a hitch with the Honorable Minister's connection there, but I've got some messages, some more messages that I think we can take at the moment. From Musa Awal in Katsina, he writes, how can the people of each region trace their projects and initiatives, as well as contribute to the decision of what they need their commission to do for them? That's one. And the second is from Alimaje in Kanu, who says, Honorable Minister, may you please respond to how NWDC will help states to have a coordinated framework on cross-cutting issues in the Northwest. I understand the Honorable Minister is back. Perhaps you can take a shot at these questions and responses.
Maybe when you repeat the questions, there was a minor glitch around here. If I take the questions again, please.
I have one from Alimaja in Kanu, who says, Honorable Minister, may you please respond to how NWDC will help states to have a coordinated framework on cross-cutting issues in the Northwest?
Okay, very simple. First and foremost, we have an in-house Servicom desk, the ministry. The commissions too are coordinated in such a way that we track the activities of the commissions. And for them, for the people that is who need to know, it is very important they know what the commissions are doing. We have a direct link with the people. Like I said, the Servicom is there. And all these commissions have units that take feedback from the people. So I will say directly, the easiest way for the generality of the public to track activities of these commissions is to deal with them directly. And we operate an open house. Should they have any problems, they can reach us at the ministry. We have media handles. All handles are active, and our activities are always daily placed out there in the public domain. We have this robust relationship with the people we serve. So I would say that the person who asks the question and any other person that has such interest can go directly into media handles of these commissions. The other one about states. States are a very important component of our work, the work we do. We can't do anything without the cooperation of the states. I want to say that we have a very good relationship with all the states. I think they realize, the state governors, that is, they realize that we are partners and not competitors. The commissions, that is, we are there to fill in the gaps because the states have to take on so many things. And where they cannot reach, we intervene. And most of the things we do actually come from the states. I'll give you one example. When we came into Bauchi a few days ago, of course, we met our host, Governor Bala Muhammad, and we sat down before going into the field. We took notes of the things that bother them much. They're having to deal with so much. Even the infrastructure projects on the road between Bauchi to Gombe that I mentioned earlier came out of such interactions before we even got there. So we took notes of the issues they have to deal with. Where they cannot intervene directly, we prioritize and the commission takes them off their hands. So we have a very good relationship with the states, and we are, everywhere we go, we engage the state governors so that we work together. Essentially, we set up to solve problems. The subnational level, the governors are doing their lot, and we fill in the gaps where they are overburdened, so to speak.
Now, the second question, which you missed, Honorable Minister, reads, how can the people of each region trace their projects and initiatives, as well as contribute to the decision of what they need their commission to do for them?
That was why I said that active handles to track activities. And if a particular matters to someone that much, I think it is too much for such a concerned citizen to take a trip. I'll give you an example. If a commission says, for instance, it's building a road between Bauchi and the Kolmani oil drilling site, for instance, very easy. It's there on our handles. Whatever we are doing are there. But if you want to see them physically, I guess you will have to take a trip and go and check to track those projects. I don't think it's too much for the citizens to ask, and we'll do whatever it requires. Our numbers are there. Public officers like us are available in the public. have in accessing those areas, or even information, registered handles, we're available. We can only provide us. That's
All right, Honorable Minister, thank you for your response to that question. I'll read one comment here, but just before that, I would like to hear your response as regards the funding gap. Creating commissions without funds. How, I mean, well, there's a budget, yes, but there are reports that some of these funds are not being released. So speak to us about that and you know, what it would look like this year for these commissions, because, I mean, they would need funds to execute some of the programs that they have. So I like your response to that, and I'll read this one. This one says, the NDDC and NEDC have been there earlier than the newer commissions and have grown through the learning curve. Weathered the challenges, they have developed structures for sustainable and alternative financing. Others should emulate them too. That's coming from Waziri Amadu. So basically, speak about the funding issue.
funding is key to all the operations of the commission. But I will tell you this for free. The system, the government has a system. The budget processes are well known to Nigerians. Of course, there is a budget in place. It is said to be accented, but we are confident that Mr. President, having created these commissions and knows the importance of these commissions in dealing with what we set out to do for Nigeria. Maybe it came late for last year, but there are no issues. The budget is there as soon as it is accented. We are very confident that the commissions will get their funds. It's supposed to be drawn from first line charge. And that tells you that it was specifically for a purpose that the commissions were domiciled in that aspect of that section of funding from the government. There wouldn't be any problem this year. I'm very confident, and we are well oiled to take off as soon as the funds come in for the new commissions. That is, for the existing commissions, they don't have funding issues, and you can see from the lots they are doing, the NDDC and the NEDC, no funding issues. For the new commissions, we're very confident that very soon we have assurances from those directly in charge. Mr. President has given the go-ahead. Yeah, as soon as the budget processes are completed, the commissions will be fully funded and they will be off the ground going.
So you said the existing commissions, or if you like, the older commissions have funds and they're up and running. But I'd like you to respond to this. There are reports suggesting that about 98% of the NDDC's budget may actually go to salaries and benefits. How does this align with post-insurgency reconstruction goals? You know, speak about that.
That is absolutely false. That's not true. The finances of such agencies are usually published. You know that they have the funds clearly spelled out in the budget, and it's clearly divided between capital and recurrent. And it's very easy to find out. It's not possible to have the other side, the recurrent side, heavier than the capital, because that will mean that the main reason of even setting up the intervention agency has failed if the recurrent is heavier than the capital. No, it's absolutely untrue. And you earlier spoke about alternative sources of funding. Yes, there are alternative sources of funding, and we are even developing new ones. We are reaching out to international donor agencies. The law setting up these commissions allow them to access funds, grants, and gifts. We are opening up opportunities, reaching out to new friends in the community towards getting the funds. Some come by way of funds directly, and for some of our partners, they intervene by way of providing either machinery, equipment, or services. So we are looking seriously at that side too, alternative sources of funding. Even the commissions too have evolved ways of getting extra income. I'll give you 1, 2 examples. As we speak, for the Northeast Development Commission, very important to know that most of the things that we are doing at the Northeast Development Commission can easily be replicated in the Northwest the North Central Commission. But I'll tell you one or two. We have reached an advanced stage in partnering with international investment companies, with local investment people to Nigeria, home base, to develop a 40 megawatt power plant located in Adamawa State. Of course, the states made up of the Northeast sub-region involved through the Governors Forum of the Northeast. What we want to do is to retool or to reconfigure the dam through which we intend to generate 40 megawatts. The intention is to get 40 megawatts of electricity added onto the national grid, sell it to the bulk electricity company, and of course, earn money for the commission and the states that are going to invest, not forgetting the investors that are bringing in their money. That is one thing we are doing. We are also in the process of rounding up discussions and setting up a pharmaceutical company, all targeted at getting alternative sources of revenue. Why a pharmaceutical company? You know, the population in the Northeast, and we have states that have international boundaries, Borno, Adamawa, and Taraba. Our target is to reach those areas and with the products from the pharmaceutical company, take advantage of an international market in our corridors, all geared towards getting extra sources of revenue to sustain the activities of the Commission. That is the much I think I can say for now as it concerns alternative sources of revenue for the Commission, to put it on a healthier and steadier ground so as to execute its mandate as directed by Mr. President.
Right. Oba Megari Amadu, Honorable Minister of State, Regional Development, we want to thank you very much for your time and for the perspectives that you have brought to Good Morning Nigeria this day.
Thank you very much for having me.
The Honorable Minister has joined us via Zoom from Bauchi. We pause here for a break, and when we return, we'll be taking a look at another conversation, the Kwara attacks. Please stay with us.